Test for detection of reducing sugars. Okay, so today I will discuss about the condition where reducing sugars are found in urine. Is reducing sugar normal constituent of urine or not? Is it normally found in everybody's urine, reducing sugars? No. So it is an abnormal constituent. Uh, Next, what is a condition known as? Where reducing sugar is found in urine, what is the condition known as? Glycosuria. So today's topic is glycosuria. Glycosuria. So what is the difference between glycosuria and glucosuria? Both terms are like proper terms. So what is the difference between glycosuria and glucosuria? So whenever there is any kind of reducing sugar positive, that means whenever Benedict's test is positive for urine, the condition is called as glycosuria. But when it is particularly glucose, when the reducing substance or reducing sugar is particularly glucose, that condition is known as glucosuria. Anything excess in amount and urea means that parameter found in urine. Okay, so glucosuria. What are the other types of glycosuria can be there? Like the question I'm asking is, what are the other substances that can give positive for reducing sugar test other than glucose? Fructose, galactose, lactose and pentose sugars also. So all the monosaccharides, they are reducing in nature. All the monosaccharides. Few disaccharides except sucrose and no polysaccharide is positive for reducing sugar. Why? Why this reducing property present in a monosaccharide or any carbohydrate? Free aldehyde or ketone group. So because of the free functional group of carbohydrate, the reducing property is there. So whenever there is a monosaccharide, it is bound to have a free aldehyde or ketone group, right? So in case of disaccharides, one functional group is used to form the glycosidic bond. So why sucrose is not giving positive Benedict? Why it is not reducing in nature? Because in a disaccharide we have two monosaccharides. So in sucrose, what are the monosaccharides? Glucose and fructose. So for the formation of glycosidic bond in sucrose, the aldehyde group of glucose and keto group of fructose both are used. That's why there is no free functional group left in sucrose and it is non-reducing in nature. Right. So to define, if asked to write a short note on glycosuria, the definition of glycosuria would be any condition where reducing sugars are found in urine. And to further classify it or to further write the types of it, you may write glucosuria, fructosuria, lactosuria, galactosuria, pentosuria, all these. Okay. Now, where does this glucose comes from? Like the urine glucose or the urine reducing substance, they come from urine. কোথা থেকে তৈরি হয়? ইউরিনটা আসে কোথা থেকে? Kidneys এ, from the filtrate of blood, circulating blood. So before proceeding to the glucose in urine, we should know what is the normal range of blood glucose level or plasma glucose level. It is called as reference range. Reference range of what's the reference range of plasma glucose? Reference range mane normal range. Okay. So it is plasma glucose can be estimated in 3 states. So glucose, source of glucose in our body is, what is the source of glucose in our body? Foods, carbohydrate rich food. So the level of glucose, plasma glucose or blood glucose is dependent on the feeding or fasting status, right? Immediately after taking food, glucose concentration will rise, and after 8 to 10 hours of fasting, it will come to a baseline. So this fasting means fasting for 8 to 10 hours. PP means 2 hours postprandial, means 2 hours after meal. Random is random, like at any time of the day, irrespective of the fasting or feeding status. So, what are the ranges? Fasting range varies from 70 to 100 milligram per dl. For PP, it should come below 140 milligram per dl. For random also, it is ideal to come to 140, but we take it as 200 milligram per dl. Okay, fine. So these values you have to remember lifelong, until unless the value, these values get changed. Okay, so fasting blood glucose level of normal individual varies from 70 to 100 milligram per dl. PP value should come under 140 milligram per dl. Random value at any time of the day, not knowing whether the patient is fasting or not, the value should come under 140. If not, at least under 200, because above 200, it is diagnostic for diabetes. So, if it comes above 200, we may say the patient is having diabetes mellitus, right? Bujha geche? In fasting value, it should come more than 126 milligram per dl to say that patient is diabetic, right? Here it is, the cutoff is 140, more than 140 milligram per dl. So, to detect or to call someone diabetic, we don't rely on a single value, okay? So, we have to test both the values, whether both the values, if both values come above the cutoff, and another parameter is there to say whether the patient is diabetic or not. It is glycated hemoglobin, HbA1c, where the cutoff is less than 6%. Okay, so glycated hemoglobin is nothing but RBCs loaded with glucose or hemoglobin attached with glucose. Okay, so glycated hemoglobin percentage should stay below 6% to say the person is normal or healthy. If it crosses 6%, we can say the patient is diabetic. This is the confirmatory diagnostic test, where with a single value, even if these values are not present, with this value, we can say the person is diabetic, because this can say the load of last 3 months. Okay, last 3 months. What is the life span of RBC? 120 days. So 1 month it takes to come from bone marrow to circulation. So next 3 months, whatever the glucose load is, it will be attached with the hemoglobin and it will stay for the rest 3 months. Okay, so HbA1c value denotes the glucose load of a person for last 3 months. It is not a static value. Fasting value can change, PP value can change daily. How? If a person is not fasting for 8 hours, suppose he is fasting for 16 hours, so his fasting range will be much lower. If a person, suppose he took high carbohydrate food, okay, so his PP value will be obviously higher, but HbA1c value will not change till 3 months. Okay, it is kind of an average value. Okay, right? So clear how to detect whether the person is diabetic or not, whether he is normal or not. These are the values, parameters. Okay, so in this we just have to remember the values and its importance. Like this normal plasma glucose, in this normal plasma glucose, no urine will come into, no glucose will come into urine. Fine. So there are mechanisms related to glucose transport and reabsorption in our kidneys. So we have to look into that. হয়ে গেছে the values সবাই লেখা হয়ে গেছে? So what happens in normal physiological condition in our kidneys? What is this? Nephron, a single nephron. So what are the parts? Afferent, efferent, glomerulus, Bowman's capsule, PCT, loop of Henle, DCT, collecting duct. ঠিক আছে? Now we will look into two parts. One is the glomerulus and Bowman's capsule, the part of filtration, and another is PCT. Okay, so what happens in this part? We are studying about the glucose filtration and reabsorption. So is glucose filtered from capillaries to the filtrate? Yes or no? Yes. So glucose is 100% filtered. Okay, glucose 100% freely filtered in filtrate. Filtrate is the fluid, okay, that is coming after filtration. So glucose is freely filtered, 100% of glucose. That means whatever glucose is coming through the blood, 100% will be filtered in the Bowman's capsule, okay, and it will come to the PCT. Now what happens in PCT? Reabsorption occurs. So if this is the tubular lumen of PCT and this is the lumen with the epithelial cells of PCT, and what is this? This is the blood vessel. So blood vessel, this is, so this filtrate is coming down the lumen with all the glucose filtered from capillaries, glomerulus. Now what will happen? Here are transporters. Okay, so this transporter is known as SGLT2. What is the full form of SGLT2? It's a transporter. The full form of SGLT is sodium dependent glucose transporter 2. Sodium dependent glucose transporter. It requires a sodium to transport a glucose molecule. Okay, So glucose from the filtrate will go into the epithelial cells of PCT via the transporter SGLT2. Any problem? SGLT2, right? So PCT can be divided into three segments: S1, S2, S3. S1, S2, S3. So from here to here it can be divided into three parts. S1, S2 contains SGLT2, whereas S3 contains SGLT1. Okay. So what is the difference between SGLT2 and SGLT1? Both are sodium dependent glucose transporters, but SGLT2, it is of low affinity but high capacity. What is affinity and what is capacity? Affinity is the power with which it may bind with the glucose, but capacity is whatever glucose is there, it will transport everything. So it is high capacity and low affinity. It is not specific to glucose, like less specific to glucose, but it will transport all the glucose. Whereas SGLT1, it is high affinity. It has high affinity for glucose, but it has a low capacity. So what happens whenever the glucose load comes just from the filtrate, most of the glucose is transported by SGLT2. So in S1, S2, 90% of the filtered glucose is reabsorbed, whereas 10%, the rest of the 10% is reabsorbed in S3. Okay, this is SGLT1, and so this will lead to 100% reabsorption of glucose. 100% was freely filtered and 100% is reabsorbed in PCT, throughout the PCT, S1, S2 and S3. So no remaining glucose will be there to pass to the loop of Henle, correct? So this is the normal physiology. This is the normal physiology. বোঝা গেছে? So SGLT2 is sodium dependent glucose transporter 2. It is situated in the S1, S2 segment of PCT, whereas SGLT1 is the same transporter but with high affinity to glucose but with low capacity, whereas this is low affinity but high capacity. So majority of the glucose is transported via SGLT2 in first segment of PCT, and the remaining 10%, whatever is left, whatever is passing through, will be captured by SGLT1 and then it will be reabsorbed. So 100% of the filtered glucose will be reabsorbed into the cells of the PCT. Now what happens? এর মধ্যে তো glucose চলে এলো, এবার what will happen to this glucose? This will come to the blood, তাই তো, into the circulation. Otherwise, what is the role of glucose of staying in the PCT cells? It should come back to the blood. What is this transporter? This is GLUT2, glucose transporter 2. Simple, glucose transporter 2. Here, where SGLT1 is situated, here it is GLUT1. Okay. So they are not sodium dependent. So what happens to this sodium? If this sodium is not removed, then it will be, the cell will explode with sodium. So what happens to this sodium? This sodium also comes to blood circulation via sodium potassium ATPase. Okay, sodium potassium ATPase. Sodium comes to blood and potassium comes from blood into the cell. Okay, clear? A reabsorption mechanism is clear? Everybody? So there is no, ideally there should be no glucose in the remaining parts of the nephron. and urine should be free of any kind of glucose. Clear? Hoja geche? Now the reabsorption, all the mechanism, all whatever I told right now, they depend on two factors. What are the two factors? Number one is transport maximum. Transport maximum. That is the rate of transport of glucose from lumen to the cell. A rate of reabsorption of glucose from the tubular lumen to cells. Okay, and this approximately is 375 milligram per minute. The rate of reabsorption is 375 milligram per minute, and that is dependent on the transporters. Right? The concentration, the more number of transporters are there, the more number of nephrons are there, it will be optimum. If the number of transporters are reduced or the nephrons are defective, the transport maximum will reduce. So this is a factor, factor number one. Another factor is renal threshold. Renal threshold. What is renal threshold? What is renal threshold? তোরা কেউ বলতে পারছিস না কেন? লাস্ট দুটো ব্যাচ কিন্তু বলেছে renal threshold. Any idea? হ্যাঁ, so there will be excretion of glucose in urine. So renal threshold is nothing but the plasma glucose level, above which glucose will be eliminated in urine. তাই তো? So what is this? What is the value? হয়েছে 180 milligram per dl plasma glucose concentration. So normal কত বলেছি আমরা? Fasting value কত পড়েছি? 70 to 100. Postprandial value normal কত পড়েছি? 140. তাই তো? তাহলে 180 কাট অফ কেন রেখেছি? 140 রাখিনি কেন? কারণ এটাই দেখা গেছে. This is found by various studies that above 180, approximately 180 milligram per dl concentration, above this concentration of blood glucose, urine starts to eliminate glucose. Okay, and another thing, postprandial value is taken after 2 hours of taking food, but after 1 hour the blood glucose level rises up to 170, can rise up to 170. Okay, even in normal individuals, depending on the type of food or the amount of carbohydrate taken. Okay, so 80, there will be glucosuria, right? So these two factors, one is transport maximum, another is renal threshold. Clear? How they affect the reabsorption? How they affect the reabsorption? I told you in transport maximum depends on the amount and the quality of the transporters. Amount and the quality of the transporters. If the quality of the transporters are faulty, defective quality, or the number is less, so then transport maximum will decrease. Transport maximum will decrease. So less amount will be reabsorbed and excess part will be excreted. And in case of renal threshold, if the plasma glucose level is lower than renal threshold, it will not eliminate any glucose. What happens? Suppose plasma glucose level is normal. Plasma glucose level is normal, but in PCT, the transporters are defective. Okay, so I am coming to the pathophysiology or mechanism how glucosuria can occur. Okay, so if plasma glucose is normal, it is in normal range. But here the transporters are defective or less in number. So transport maximum for that individual will decrease, will drop, and that will lead to secretion of or excretion of excess glucose in urine. That will cause glucosuria. Another person whose nephron is alright, whose PCT is working fine, but his blood glucose level is much higher. Suppose 200 milligram per dl blood glucose concentration. So what is happening? Everything is getting filtered, all the glucose is getting filtered, but whatever transporters are there, the optimum number of transporters are there and they are getting saturated. So the overload of glucose will lead to excretion of glucose in urine. বোঝা গেছে দুটো separate mechanism. In one case, normoglycemic condition will be there. That can lead to glycosuria because of decreased transport maximum, and that will be because of decreased efficiency of the transporters or decreased number of transporters. And another cause where there will be hyperglycemic state, hyperglycemic condition. Hyperglycemic means glucose concentration more than normal. So hyperglycemic condition resulting into saturation of the transporters. Enough transporters are there, normal number of transporters are there, but they are getting saturated by all the glucose that is coming at a time. Okay, so extra amount is getting excreted. Clear? Clear everyone? Okay, so we can classify glycosuria into two major types. Okay, so the classification of glycosuria is as such. Glycosuria can be of two types. Number one is hyperglycemic glycosuria, and this is the commonest one. Another is normoglycemic glycosuria. Okay, hyperglycemic glycosuria means blood glucose level will be higher than normal, right? So what are the pathological conditions where we can find hyperglycemic condition? Pathological states or diseases where we find hyperglycemic state? Diabetes mellitus. Commonest cause of glycosuria is diabetes mellitus. Next, thyrotoxicosis. Okay. Next, steroids. Use of steroids. Next, stress induced. Okay. So these are the conditions where we may find hyperglycemia resulting in glycosuria. So in hyperglycemic glycosuria, what happens? Blood glucose level is more than renal threshold. Right? Blood glucose is more than renal threshold. That is why glycosuria is there. What happens in normoglycemic? Here the transport maximum is reduced. In normoglycemic glycosuria, the transport maximum is reduced. And what are the conditions? Familial renal glycosuria. Familial renal glycosuria is a benign condition where there is mutation in the gene for SGLT2 transporter. Okay, so there is SGLT2 mutation leading to defective transport of defective transporters and reduced reabsorption of glucose. SGLT2 mutation in familial renal glycosuria, but it is a benign condition. Okay. Next comes Fanconi syndrome. Fanconi syndrome. What is Fanconi syndrome? It is a generalized PCT defect. Generalized PCT defect. Not only the glucose transporters, but all the transporters throughout the PCT is defective. They are defective. So, generalized PCT defect leads to not only glycosuria, along with glycosuria there will be amino aciduria plus bicarbonate urea plus phosphate urea plus loss of other electrolytes. Okay. In case of Fanconi syndrome, there will be generalized PCT defect resulting in glycosuria plus amino aciduria, bicarbonate urea, phosphate urea and loss of other electrolytes. It is a global PCT defect. Okay. So, all the transporters are defective. Nothing can be reabsorbed. So, if glucose is being eliminated in urine in a normoglycemic condition, what will happen? Like normoglycemic means patient is having a normal blood glucose level and along with it glucose is continuously getting excreted. So, the blood glucose level will fall and in child it will result in growth retardation. Energy deficit hobe to. If glucose concentration is not enough to meet the cell's energy or the body's energy requirement, so there will be breakdown of other tissues. Okay, so that will lead to growth retardation. So amino acid urea will also lead to growth retardation. Bicarbonate urea. What is bicarbonate? Bicarbonate? Huh? H3O3 minus. And what is it in nature? Acid, base, what? It is base. It is basic in nature. Okay. So, if base is excreted in high amount, so body's acid concentration will rise. Body always maintain a balance. So, body maintains a balance by H plus concentration, acid concentration and bicarbonate concentration. Acid and base, they balance each other. So, if bicarbonate is getting eliminated, so basic part is getting eliminated. So, that will lead to acidosis in body. Acidosis, and that will be of metabolic acidosis. Metabolic acidosis. So, in Fanconi syndrome, there will be generalized PCT defect resulting in all of this and that will lead to this. Now, phosphate urea. If phosphate is also excreted in high amount, it will lead to bone defects. Bone defects. Okay. That will cause ricket in children and osteomalacia in adults. ঠিক আছে? Clear? Phosphate is required for bone, proper bone functioning or formation of bones. So, if phosphate is deficit, it will lead to bone defects leading to ricket or osteomalacia. So, if asked to write a short note on Fanconi syndrome, you can write from these points. Okay. Clear? And loss of electrolyte can lead to dyselectrolytemia. Loss of electrolytes can lead to dyselectrolytemia. Okay, so these are the two normoglycemic glycosuria condition. Another example of normoglycemic glycosuria which is not pathological. All these things they were pathological. But next comes a physiological condition where in normoglycemic condition we find glycosuria, and that is pregnancy. So until this part is because the blood glucose level above renal threshold, and this part because the reduced transport maximum. But what happens in pregnancy? What happens in pregnancy? Both the factors are present here. Why? Here GFR is increased, glomerular filtration rate is increased. So excess amount of filtrate is coming down per minute. GFR is increased mane filtration rate is increased. That will lead to increased amount of glucose per minute. The coming load of glucose is increased, right? But at the same time, blood glucose level is normal. It is not higher than renal threshold, but the amount that is coming per minute is more than the transport maximum. So the transporters, they get saturated, right? So increased GFR can lead to decrease in transport maximum. Next, in case of pregnancy, renal threshold also comes down around 150 milligram per dl. In normal individuals, which was 180, in pregnancy it falls down around 150. So even the pregnant woman, she is with normal blood glucose, suppose postprandial 1 hour after meal, if her blood glucose comes above 150, she will start eliminating glucose. Okay, normal individual to 150 milligram holeo glucose urea hobe na, but in pregnant patient, as their renal threshold comes down, so they may excrete glucose even at lower blood glucose. That is why all the parameters responsible for glucosuria in pregnancy is like increased GFR leading to decreased transport maximum and along with the decreased renal threshold for them. ঠিক আছে? Clear? আচ্ছা, এছাড়া there are few other points regarding glycosuria which can be, other than these causes, which can be drug induced. Drug induced mane glycosuria can be produced by any drug. So what is the drug? That is SGLT2 inhibitors. SGLT2 inhibitors. Why do we use SGLT2 inhibitors? In case of diabetes mellitus, to reduce the excess load of glucose in blood, we try to prevent the reabsorption part. Okay, body is already having excess amount of blood glucose, so we try to stop the transporters at the renal mechanism, renal part, where we block SGLT2 by SGLT2 inhibitors so that they don't facilitate the glucose reabsorption. This may lead to excretion of glucose in urine. ঠিক আছে? So this is drug induced glycosuria, can be caused by SGLT2 inhibitors. Okay? So now এছাড়া few physiological conditions are also there, that is like excessive exercise. Excessive exercise, and one is others are like fever and hyperthyroidism. So in these conditions we can see glycosuria. Fine. So clear? The classification of glycosuria, hyperglycemic glycosuria and normoglycemic glycosuria. What is the mechanism behind hyperglycemic glycosuria and what is the mechanism behind normoglycemic glycosuria? What are the clinical conditions and their symptoms and all? ठीक है? Clear? Okay. Now come to the types of glycosuria. Types according to the based on the reducing sugar present in urine. So whatever we discussed was regarding glucosuria, mainly glucosuria, right? Now what is the second most common reducing substance found in urine? Lactose. Okay, and it is found in a benign condition. It is not even not in a pathological condition. In case of pregnant women of third trimester onwards and lactating mothers, lactose can be found in urine. ठीक है? So lactose urea can be found in pregnant women of third trimester and onward and in lactating mothers. Fine. So this is not a pathological condition, this is a physiological condition and it has nothing to do with glucosuria of any blood glucose level or anything. ठीक है? It is known as lactose urea. Fine. Next is fructose urea. So what is the source of fructose? Fruits. So fruits are rich sources of fructose. So fructose, glucose, galactose, whatever they are, all the carbohydrates, they play the major part in supplying energy. And these monosaccharides like fructose and galactose, they tend to convert into glucose for further metabolic processes. Okay, or they break down to form any intermediary products. So in case of fructose, fructose first is converted to fructose 6-phosphate. Okay, and then it will be broken down into glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and DHAP, and that enzyme is aldolase B. Okay, so if these two enzymes are defective, if fructokinase enzyme leading to conversion of fructose to fructose 6-phosphate is deficient or defective, it will lead to accumulation of fructose. Fructose will not come into the metabolic pathways because of the absence of fructokinase enzyme, and because of the aldolase B enzyme deficiency, fructose 6-phosphate and fructose 1,6-bisphosphate will not be divided into the next intermediary products. So that will also lead to accumulation of fructose in blood. That will result in fructose urea. So the cause of fructose urea is deficiency of the enzyme fructokinase and aldolase B. Essential fructose urea is known where there is deficiency of fructokinase enzyme. ठीक है? अच्छा, next comes the galactose urea. Galactose urea মানে excretion of galactose. So galactose কোথা থেকে পাওয়া যায়? What is the source of galactose? Galactose কোথা থেকে পাওয়া যায়? What is galactose? C4-ABMR. And what is the role of galactose in our diet? Galactose দিয়ে কোন ডাইস্যাকারাইড তৈরি হয়? Lactose. Lactose কোথায় পাওয়া যায়? Milk. So lactose is milk sugar and galactose comes from lactose. So any dairy product will give galactose. In our body, galactose is again converted into glucose. So in the various metabolic pathways, one enzyme is very important, that is galactose 1-phosphate uridyl transferase. Okay, so this enzyme helps in conversion of galactose to glucose. If this enzyme is deficient, galactose 1-phosphate uridyl transferase, okay, this enzyme if deficient or defective, it will lead to accumulation of galactose in our body. Okay, so galactose will not be metabolized and it will be excreted as it is. and this condition is known as galactosemia. When the concentration of galactose increases in our blood, this condition is known as galactosemia, and when it is excreted through urine, it is known as galactosuria. ঠিক আছে? Okay, next comes the last important glycosuria type, that is pentosuria. So name few pentose sugars: ribulose, xylose, xylulose. So all these pentose sugars are found in our body in which pathway? In pentose phosphate pathway. Okay, the pathway where ribose is formed. So here other sugars, pentose sugars are also formed like xylulose, xylose, all these things. So what happens if there is a defective enzyme xylulose dehydrogenase and xylulose reductase? Okay, so in case of pentosuria, the sugar that is accumulated is xylulose. Okay, L-xylulose. In pentosuria, defective enzymes are xylulose dehydrogenase and xylulose reductase. This is also a benign condition where xylulose is excreted via urine, and this condition is known as essential pentosuria. Okay, essential pentosuria. ঠিক আছে, বোঝা গেছে এই পর্যন্ত? টাইপস তাহলে গ্লুকোজিউরিয়া হয়েছে, ল্যাকটোজিউরিয়া, fructosuria, galactosuria and essential pentosuria. All the enzyme defects in whichever condition I mentioned. Okay, now come to the laboratory investigation part. Lab investigation part, we all know that for detection of reducing sugars in urine, we perform Benedict's test. So all the glycosuria, they will give positive in Benedict's, but how to differentiate which one is which sugar? So basically, as in case of galactosuria, what happens? The accumulation of galactose, it may lead to accumulation of galactose and conversion of galactose to galactitol in our lens, leading to formation of cataract. Okay, so galactitol can be stored in lens, resulting in cataract, and so in galactosuria, additional with the reducing sugar positive in urine, we may find cataract in the patient. Okay, so glucose, what is a confirmatory laboratory test for glucose? Benedict is for all reducing sugar. All the reducing sugars will give positive Benedict. So which test is specific for glucose? Enzymatic test, glucose oxidase test. Okay, so we perform glucose oxidase test to detect whether glucose is present or not in this reducing sample. Okay, so in nowadays we don't perform glucose oxidase test separately. There is a dipstick test. Okay, dipstick test, what happens? In a stick, various reagents and enzymes are embedded. Okay, and if we dip the stick in urine, it will give positive or negative. If glucose is present, it will give color gradients. Okay, light shade of red, dark shade of red, brown, orange, all these shades will be there, and we have to match what is the level of glucose present in the sample. Okay, so for confirmatory test of glucose detection, we will perform glucose oxidase dipstick test. For fructose, we will perform Selivanov's. Okay, Selivanov's test for glucose estimation, fructose detection, and for pentose sugar, we will perform Bial's test. Okay, just to know the name, it is Bial's test. And for galactose, we will perform Mucic acid test. Okay, so all these tests, you just have to know the name, or not in details. Fine. So clear? Today's topic is clear or not? Okay, let's discuss few MCQs and end it. Okay, glucosuria appears for pentosuria. essential pentosuria. Glucosuria appears when the glucose load, filtered glucose load exceeds GFR, transport maximum, renal blood flow and renal plasma flow. Glucosuria occurs when the filtered glucose load exceeds GFR, renal plasma flow, transport maximum, renal blood flow. Transport maximum. Usual renal threshold for glucose in adults is 180 milligram per dl. Okay. Glucosuria with normal blood glucose is characteristic of diabetes mellitus, thyrotoxicosis, renal glycosuria, Cushing syndrome. Glucosuria with normal blood glucose level is characteristic of diabetes mellitus, thyrotoxicosis, renal glycosuria, Cushing syndrome. চোখের সামনে তো লেখা রয়েছে familial renal glycosuria and renal glycosuria is same. Whenever the term is renal glycosuria, that means fault is in the renal part. Okay, so hyperglycemic condition is not there. It is the fault of the kidneys. So answer will be renal glycosuria. Next, in familial renal glycosuria, there is a mutation in GLUT1, GLUT2, SGLT1, SGLT2. Essential pentosuria is due to deficiency of fructokinase, aldolase B, xylulose reductase, aldolase reductase, xylulose reductase. Which sugar gives positive Benedict test but negative glucose oxidase dipstick? Which reducing sugar or which sugar gives positive Benedict but negative glucose oxidase dipstick? Glucose, xylulose, maltose, sucrose. Xylulose. Sucrose Benedict debe na. Okay. Sucrose will not give positive Benedict. So eliminated in the first line. And all other three, glucose, xylulose and maltose, they will give positive reducing. Why maltose will give positive reducing? It is a disaccharide of glucose. And why will it give positive dipstick? Because hydrolysis of maltose will give rise to 2-glucose. ঠিক আছে? Glucosuria in pregnancy occurs mainly because low GFR, increased renal threshold, decreased tubular reabsorption, decreased renal threshold. Decreased renal threshold. SGLT2 reabsorbs glucose from thick ascending limb, PCT, DCT, collecting duct. PCT. আরো স্পেসিফিক্যালি যদি দেওয়া থাকে S1, S2, S3, S1, S2. Okay. Fanconi syndrome causes glucosuria because of hyperglycemia, reduced GFR, generalized PCT defect, decreased insulin. সবাইকার কাছে ক্লিয়ার তো কোয়েশ্চেন গুলো? খুব তো কঠিন নয়, কোয়েশ্চেন গুলো খুব ইজি। Which drug intentionally causes glycosuria? SGLT2 inhibitors. Okay. Transient postprandial glycosuria occurs because, আচ্ছা এটা আমার বলা হয়নি, that is another thing which is not pathological, which is not even physiological, that is elementary glycosuria. Elementary glycosuria means it is a transient glycosuric phase where after taking overload of carbohydrate or after intaking of excess carbohydrate, there will be transient state of hyperglycemic condition resulting in transient glycosuria. Okay, so একদিন ধর আমরা বিয়ে বাড়িতে প্রচুর মিষ্টি খেয়ে ফেলেছি, তো তার 1 ঘন্টা পরে কারোর আমাদের ট্রানজিয়েন্ট ফেজ অফ গ্লাইকোসুরিয়া হতে পারে, ঠিক আছে? তো সেটাকে আমরা বলবো এলিমেন্টারি গ্লাইকোসুরিয়া। দ্যাট ইজ নট ফিজিওলজিক্যাল, দ্যাট ইজ নট ইভেন প্যাথোলজিক্যাল অলসো। ওকে, সো Answer this question. Transient postprandial glycosuria occurs because insulin deficiency, blood glucose level exceeding 180 milligram per dl briefly, renal damage, no SGLT2 activity. So blood glucose level increasing 180 degree, exceeding 180 milligram per dl. Okay. Essential fructosuria, the enzyme deficit is fructokinase, UDP galactose transferase, galactokinase, aldolase B. Fructokinase. Which condition shows hyperglycemic glycosuria? Which condition shows hyperglycemic glycosuria? Familial renal glycosuria, galactosemia, diabetes mellitus, pentosuria. Diabetes mellitus. Transport maximum for glucose is approximately 375 milligram per minute. Okay. Which segment shows high affinity, low capacity glucose reabsorption? S3. S3 via SGLT1. Okay. Positive Benedict test plus negative dipstick suggest diabetes mellitus, hyperglycemia, presence of reducing sugar other than glucose, renal failure. Presence of reducing sugar other than glucose. Normoglycemic glycosuria is commonly seen in diabetic ketoacidosis, hyperthyroidism, pregnancy, steroid therapy. Pregnancy. Essential pentosuria is pathological, associated with kidney damage, benign hereditary condition caused by hyperglycemia. Essential pentosuria is pathological, associated with kidney damage, benign hereditary condition caused by hyperglycemia. It is a benign hereditary condition. বললাম না যে essential pentosuria এর কোনো ট্রিটমেন্ট সেভাবে দরকার হয় না. And which glucose transporter is responsible for basolateral exit of glucose from PCT? GLUT2, GLUT4, SGLT2, SGLT1. GLUT2. Clear তো? Basolateral মানে এই যে, ঠিক আছে?